The India-U.S. relationship has grown significantly over the past couple of decades, evolving into a strategic partnership. India and America now cooperate in a wide range of areas spanning defense, trade, technology, and counterterrorism. However, under the Trump administration, the relationship has been marked by a focus on economic reciprocity and defense trade. This was highlighted once again in President Donald Trump's phone call with Prime Minister Narendra Modi earlier this week. Here's a detailed breakdown of the three key issues that Trump raised in his phone call with Modi. Number one, India needs to buy more American defense equipment. Trump has been lamenting about the current state of defense trade between India and America, pushing for India to buy more made in America defense equipment. India has emerged in the last 20 years or so as a major buyer of US defense equipment from America, with over $20 billion worth of defense deals that have been signed between both countries since 2008. In recent years, India has diversified its defense imports, it has reduced its dependence on Russia, and increased purchases from the United States, France, and Israel. Now, defense deals that India has signed in the last decade with the United States includes the C-17 Globemaster strategic transport aircraft, which is worth over $4 billion, the P-8I Poseidon maritime surveillance aircraft for the Indian Navy, worth over $3 billion, the AH-64E Apache attack helicopters, worth over $2 billion, the CH-47F Chinook heavy-lift helicopters, the M777 ultralight howitzers, the guns, the 6.716 rifles for the Indian Army, which is over $70 million. But there are pending deals, including deals that were announced when Prime Minister Modi went on the state visit to the United States in June of 2023, some of which still need to be ironed out. The MH-60R Seahawk naval helicopters for the Indian Navy at over $2.5 billion, the NASAMS-2 air defense systems, which is over $1 billion, the Predator B drones, again for the Indian Navy and the Indian Air Force, estimated at over $3 billion. Now, historically, Russia has been India's largest defense supplier. At one point of time, it used to account for more than 60, if not close to 70% of India's annual defense imports. However, over the last few years, this dependence has decreased. Russia's share has dropped to under 50%, while the United States now accounts for anywhere between 15 to 20% of India's defense imports. India still relies on Russia for critical platforms like the S-400 air defense systems, which is a massive deal, close to $5.5 billion. It was signed in 2018. The deliveries of some of the S-400s were temporarily paused by India after Trump made it into a huge issue in his first term. And then subsequently, after Trump left office, India went on to buy one part of the S-400 deal. The other two are yet to be delivered to India. They will be in the next couple of years. But it's not just the air defense systems. The fifth generation Sukhoi 30 MKI fighters, which were again imported from Russia, the main battlefield tanks of the Indian Army, the T-90 tanks, again a Russian import, even the first aircraft carrier that India has built, the INS Vikrant, has all been based on Russian technology and using Russian spare parts. Trump, on the other hand, is urging India to reduce its reliance on Russian imported military equipment and instead buy more from the United States. He's even cited concerns over the CAATSA sanctions. CAATSA is a treaty. It's called the Countering America's Adversaries Through Sanctions Act. He has waved that stick at India. The US has offered advanced defense technologies, whether it's fighter jets, the F-35s, the drones, including the Predators, and of course missile defense systems to try and deepen its defense ties with India. Another point of beef with Trump has been what he calls the uneven and unfair trade relationship. So what is the state of the current bilateral trade between Delhi and Washington? India-US bilateral trade stood at $190 billion in 2023-24, making America India's largest trading partner. India enjoys a trade surplus with the United States of close to $50 billion, which has been a point of contention for the Trump administration. So what are the sectors that are driving India's trade surplus with America? Pharmaceuticals. India is a major supplier of generic drugs to the United States. Textiles and apparel. India exports garments and textiles, which are significant in merchandise numbers. Gems and jewelry. India again is a leading exporter of diamonds, and jewelry to the United States. And the biggest one is Indian IT services. Indian IT companies provide software services to US firms, and that has also been a significant contributor to the trade with the United States. So what has been Donald Trump's demands for trade parity between India and America? Trump has criticized India's high tariffs when it comes to US products, particularly in sectors like agricultural goods. Trump wants India to ease the tariffs on American almonds, on apples, even on dairy products. Motorcycles, example the Harley-Davidson. In fact, in his first term as president, he had publicly rebuked India for what he called very high tariffs on Harley-Davidson motorcycles. Medical devices, whether it is stents or knee implants. The United States wants to reduce tariffs and also remove non-tariff barriers to try and create a more level playing field for American exports into India. India and the United States have also been negotiating a limited free trade deal to address some of these key issues, and some of those areas that are under discussion include reducing Indian tariffs on US agricultural as well as industrial goods, resuming Indian exports of shrimp as well as steel to the US, and expanding market access for US dairy and poultry products. Another point of contention has been on illegal immigrants from India who are in the United States. According to the Pew Research Center, there are approximately 500,000 undocumented Indian immigrants in the US. It makes them one of the largest groups of illegal immigrants. Indians constitute the third largest group of illegal immigrants into the United States after Mexico and El Salvador. Many of these immigrants entered the US legally on work visas or student visas, but then they overstayed their visas. Trump has raised concerns about illegal immigration. He wants countries like India to take back their citizens who are in the US illegally. Under US law, the government can only deport undocumented immigrants, but that repatriation requires cooperation from the immigrants' home countries. India has said it is happy to welcome any illegal immigrant as long as he or she can prove their Indian citizenship. But it's not going to be easy for India. It's going to face legal and logistical challenges in repatriating hundreds of thousands of illegal immigrants back into the country. India requires proper documentation to verify the nationality of these deportees, which can be time-consuming. Many undocumented immigrants lack valid passports or other identification documents, something that Foreign Minister Jaishankar had alluded to while he was in the US last week to attend Trump's inauguration. India's infrastructure and resources to reintegrate these returnees are limited, particularly if large numbers are to be deported. Accepting deportees could also be politically sensitive in India, as many of them left the country seeking better opportunities abroad. India and the United States have been working to streamline the repatriation process. In 2020, India agreed to accept some deportees on chartered flights by the US government. Last year, in 2023, over 1,100 illegal, undocumented immigrants from India had been repatriated back to the country. However, the process remains slow, and Trump has expressed his deep frustration over the pace of cooperation. Whether or not that will change when Prime Minister Modi, according to Trump, is likely to visit the White House as early as this February, that is still a point of contention in the ever-evolving relationship between Washington and New Delhi.